a unique school based on Indian cultural heritage and global vision, which has a record of 100% result in ICSE, State Board and PU Board examinations. Athreya Educational Institutions, a famous name in Mandya for more than a decade, providing you a world-class education from nursery to PUC. Enhanced with a newly constructed environment-friendly building, spacious smart classrooms, well-equipped labs and library, experienced teachers with motherly care and updated teaching methods, including 4-language learning concept, regular multiple cultural and sports activities, and best vehicle facility. What else do you expect? Join your children today. We make them complete human beings and present them as real gift to the society.
ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಅನುರಾಧ ರಘು ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು, ಕೆಎಸ್ ರಘು ವಕೀಲರು ಹಾಗೂ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು. ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಫಾರ್ 2020 and 21. Pre-KG, UKG classes to 10th standard. ಸಂಪರ್ಕಿಸಿ ದೂರವಾಣಿ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ 9986797652, 8867015936 ಹಾಗೂ 8867015937.
Experience Athreya. Feel at home.
Hi children, a very good day to all of you. I am Darshini Dinesh, the principal from Athreya Educational Institution, Mandya. Today we are facing a pandemic situation, so there is a lot of hiccups which is happening with the learning process. But your learning should not stop. Hence, Athreya team has come up with a new innovative method to reach all the students of this place so that we can get in touch with you, let the learning process take place effectively and let your skills get transformed into a better way. Today we are coming up with a recorded video classes to reach you all so that the improvement of your knowledge could get improvised still more. So today we are coming up with few classes. Since today I'm going to take with the subject science, and I'll be handling the first chapter, that is on the cell. So let us begin with the session now. Okay, we already know about the cell from the basic of the ICSE or CBSE or the states. You have learnt about the term cell, you have studied about what is cell, what are its structure, what is its function. Since this is the first chapter in ICSE, so this is just for the revision based, but yes, this is a very basic important chapter which will lead you till second year PUC. Okay, till second PUC this chapter holds a very it is a strengthening chapter topic, so you have to hold a very backup on that. Now let us talk about the topic cell. What is cell? A cell is the basic structural, it's a basic structural and functional unit of organism. What do you mean by this? It is a basic structural and functional unit of organism. See, when we talk about a life, an organism, it has to be made out of a cell. So wherever there is a cell, there is a life. So cell gives life for the organism to exist. If an organism exists, it should definitely made up of a single cell, at least a single cell it should have. So the basic structure of this organism, say if an organism, bacteria, it is an organism, a plant is an organism, an animal is an organism, and also we talk about human, a superior organism of above all this, isn't it? Every organism is made up of at least one single cell, only then the organism is said to be living. Okay, So bacteria has a structure, yes. Plant has a structure, it has a defined structure. When we talk about animal, it is also a well-defined structure, a complex structure. When we talk about human, it is also, a very different structure from all other organisms. Every organism have their own structure, and every structure performs their important function. Okay. When we talk about cell is the base for every life. This cell, a group of cell with performing specific function, forms tissue. Okay. So a group of tissue performing different function forms organ. Different types of organ aligned with one another, they cooperate or coordinate with one another to make an organ system. Okay. So once this organ system is aligned in the body in a perfect manner, then a body is complete. The organism is complete. If any organism is if any organs are missing, then obviously the organ system will not have its definite structure and it cannot perform its function. If any tissue is missing, that organ will not have a proper structure and it will not have a proper function. If the cell is missing, the entire system is corrupted. Okay. So cell is a basic. For every organism to exist, the cell is a basic. So it is a basic structural and functional unit of organism. Okay. So if an organism have a structure, every structure will have its own function. When we take an example of our body, we have stomach, we have liver, heart, kidney. Okay. We have so many organs which is associated, and every organs are different in their structure, and every different structure in these organs perform different function. Okay. So kidney will not have the performance of stomach. A brain cannot perform the work of a kidney. Every organs are different. They are completely structurally different. Hence, they are very specific to their function. Okay. So this is about a cell. So cell is the basic structural and functional unit of an organism. Now let us understand the important concepts of cell. The important concepts of cell is that first point, as we learned, it is structural, and functional unit of life. Okay. So every cell is formed from the pre-existing cell. Cells are formed from pre-existing cell. Just now we understood this point. It is a structural and functional unit of an organism. Yes. So every organism will have a specific structure and specific function. The second point is that every cell which is formed in our body will be formed due to the pre-existing cell. Whatever cell which is there in our body, these cells are formed from the pre-existing cell. Now I'll give you an example. Our whole body was a zygote, a single cell before. The zygote, which is formed due to the fertilization process, okay, say this is zygote. This zygote will undergo division. So this zygote will undergo division. We will be learning the detail, okay, in your next upcoming topic. So it has become two cell. Now how these two cells are formed? It is from the pre-existing cell. Did you understand? Now this cell again they again divide and become 4 cell. Now this is a 4 cell stage. How these cells were formed? Because of the pre-existing cell. How these cells were formed? From the pre-existing cell. Did you understand how this zygote were formed? It is because of the fusion of egg plus sperm. and these both are cells. They are called as a sex cells. So these cells fuse to form a zygote, which is a complete cell. These complete cell again divide to form daughter cells. This is called as daughter cells. Okay. This process takes place even in the smallest to the smallest organism called as a bacteria. Okay. Now if I talk about bacteria, say this is an higher organism. Okay. In higher organism, the zygote will be the single cell stage. These single cell stage undergo repeated division to form group of cells. So how this group of cells were formed? From the pre-existing cell. So that is which is defined in the second point. Here we are talking about a bacteria. Okay, I'll give it in a color so this bacteria undergoes division by binary fission. Okay, so here what happens, the elongation of the bacterial cell takes place. Okay, later I'll write it here. So after elongation, there is a small deviation in the middle portion of the cell. So at the middle portion they take up a deviation. We will be learning about the detail in cell division. So once after this process has occurred, you see the daughter cells which are formed. Okay, so it will undergo a cut in between. Exactly half of the cell will undergo equal half. The cut, there will be a furrow which is developed and the cell is cut into equal half. So this is how the daughter cells are formed. So how these two cells were formed? These two cells were formed from the pre-existing cell. So the second point talks about the cells. New cells are formed from the pre-existing cell. Hope you understood this part now. So next is, third point is that every living organism is made up of cell. Every living organism you take, it requires cell, except there is a few exceptions in the case of a virus. We will not say virus is made up of cellular body, but it is made up of protein coat. Okay, so every life exists with at least every life will, this one is made up of cells. Okay, when we talk about every living organism which exists on earth, they all are made up of cell. If we talk about bacteria, fungi, algae, higher plants, okay, herbs, shrubs, trees and all the higher plants, from the basic smallest animal or the worm, insects, to the higher animal like a human, giant whale, we all have been made up of cells. So cell is a basic part, it is a part and parcel of every life. Fourth is that every cell has basic composition every cell will have a basic composition in that. What composition? A chemical composition. All cells are made up of similar chemical compositions. Okay, there will be some slight variation from one cell to another which actually marks the function different. Okay, apart from that, all the cell will be having the basic composition which chemically same. Okay, the basic composition of all these cells are chemically same. there will be slight variation on the kind of a protein or on the kind of ions which is different, which makes the cellular function different, but overall the cell is made up of same chemical composition. So these are the important points about the cell, and this is very important. Please make a note of this. Okay. Okay, now we'll go with the next portion. The kind of cells. We have different kinds of cells, that is organism. Let me talk about organism. Organisms are divided into two types, okay? That is, depending on the number of cells it has. Depending on the number of cells, organism is divided into two, that is single celled and multi-celled. Single-celled organism means the entire life of that organism will be existed with one single cell. Okay, the entire lifespan it will lead the entire lifespan with one single cell, hence they are called as unicellular. For example, we have unicellular like amoeba. Okay, we have euglena. We have bacteria, etc. So these are the different types of organism which completes their entire lifespan. They go ahead with one single cell. Okay, multi-celled means they are nothing but multicellular. So they are made up of more than few hundred cells. So they are called as multicellular. Let us go with an example. All the plants, animals, okay, including human, we all come up with a group of multi-celled organisms. So this is a very small information. Organisms are divided into two types based on the amount of cell which it has to complete their entire lifespan. So there are organisms which the entire life of their entire life they will be existing with one single cell. They are called as a unicellular. Example, amoeba, euglena and bacteria. And there are organisms which entire lifespan they will be having a multi-celled. So they have a different structure. They have a organ level organization or tissue level organization. Okay, so they are called as a multicellular. So example, plants, animals, human, we all come under multicellular organism. Now depending on the kind of the type of a structure, we basically divide cell into two types, that is plant cell and an animal cell. Okay, but before that let us understand this thing, that cell varies with shape. Okay, cell have different shape. There are cell which is very small, there are cell which is very long, and there are cell which is very large. There are three different shape of cells. Okay, when we talk about smallest cell, a bacterial cell is a very smallest cell. First of all, cell is the tiniest structure which cannot be seen in a naked eyes. So it requires a prominent technological level for its observation. Example, that is microscope. So we require an important instrument for the observation of the cell. So as a very basic compound microscope is not sufficient day to day. We will go with a higher end microscope for detailed observation of even organelles present in the cell. So the smallest cell is a bacterial cell. bacteria, yeast. So they are very, very small, they are very tiny, okay. And we have RBC. Example, I am going to give you that, bacteria, yeast. We have RBC in our own body. We have platelets. These all are tiniest cell which is present in our body, and it has its own function and structure. The longest cell which present in our body is a nerve cell. Okay. RBC are smaller in its size, and it has a major function in transportation of oxygen. When we talk about the nerve cell, it is the longest cell which is present in our body, and its main function is to carry the impulse from the brain to the specific portion of our body, receptor region of our body. The largest cell, which is so far we have encountered, the largest cell, that is ostrich egg. Okay, so egg contains cell, so that is a zygotic cell stage. So the egg, definitely it will have a zygote. This zygote will develop into this small bird. Okay, so in hen it is a small chick. So the ostrich egg is said to be the largest cell where we can actually view the cell in our naked eyes. Okay, so these are the different shape and the size, it's the sizes of the cell which actually gives you the clarity of that cell do occur in different size. Now let us understand the structure of the cell. Structure of the cell plays a very important role, and every structure which is present inside the cell also has its own function. Now on the right of your board, we have actually drawn a very prominent cell structure. This is very important, and I have marked the specific labeling. See, the structure of cell either carries 3 marks or 5 marks based question. So draw a neat labeled diagram of a cell. They can ask you specifically for animal cell, or they can even ask you for plant cell. Now I'll be explaining you like what are the structures present and what is its important role. Okay. So when we talk about cell has different in its structure. It can be oval, it can be rectangular, it can be polygonal, hexagonal. Depending on the type it is arranged, they have their specific structures. Now let us understand the cell structure. The cell structure will have 3 major parts. Okay, we are talking about the 3 major parts. The first one is plasma membrane. Okay. Number 2, it is cytoplasm. Number 3, it is nucleus. Okay, now we will learn one by one. Cell structure has its a specific prominent structure, and every cell has 3 important region. Okay, these 3 important region of the cell plays a very vital role, and the first one is plasma membrane, or it is also called as cell membrane. Okay. The second is cytoplasm, and the third one is nucleus. If we look into the structure of the cell, the outermost boundary what I have drawn here, this portion is called as a plasma membrane. This region is what we call it as a plasma membrane, and it has its definite role to play inside in the cell. Okay, plasma membrane is the outermost membrane of animal cell, especially they are present in animal cell and also plant cell, but in animal cell it is the outermost membrane. Okay, and it is a living It is a living membrane of the cell. So this plasma membrane is the outermost region of an animal cell. It is also existed in plant cell, but in animal this will be the outermost region. Okay, first one. Second one, it is a living membrane. So it is a living membrane. Third, this plasma membrane is made up of lipoprotein. It is made up of lipoprotein. What do you mean by lipoprotein? So it's a two components, okay? It's a combination of two. Lipo means lipid. Protein, we already know. It's a combination of both lipid and protein structures bind together to form the outermost layer of the animal cell, that is plasma membrane, okay? Otherwise it is also called as cell membrane. Okay, so it is a living membrane. It is made up of a lipoprotein and they are selectively permeable. Okay, they are selectively permeable. That means to say they also have small tiny pores. Okay, they have small tiny pores here and there. You can actually we can actually make out there will be a small tiny openings in the plasma membrane, but this plasma membrane, these small tiny openings will be permeable very selectively. They will select the kind of substance which has to get into the cell. Okay, say like there is ions, now chlorine, sodium ions, potassium ions, so many ions are present outside the cell. So they will select, okay, now I require sodium but not potassium. Only they select sodium to get in, but they will reject the movement of potassium inside. That means to say plasma membrane are very selective in absorbing or making the particles to get inside the cell and also outside the cell. That is why they are called as selectively permeable. Then the movement of these particles takes place through tiny pores. There are small tiny holes which is present in between where the particles move in and out selectively. Okay, and they give rigidity to the animal cell. So they give they give flexibility. Okay, they provide flexibility to the animal cell. So these are the important points for plasma membrane. It is the outermost layer of the animal cell but inner to the plant cell. In plant cell we actually see, okay, now I have to say that in plant cell we have one more layer which is called as the cell wall. Now this is if this is a plant cell, please understand children, if this is a plant cell, this is plasma membrane but the outermost layer is called as cell wall. Okay. So in animal cell, plasma membrane will be the first membrane. In plant cell, cell wall will be the outermost membrane. Okay, but plasma membrane is present in plant cell also. Now it is a living membrane. It is living in both plants and animal cell. In animal cell, the plasma membrane is made up of lipoprotein, while in plant cell, the plasma membrane is made up of, the outermost layer is cell wall. Okay, cell wall is a non-living, plasma membrane is a living. Cell wall is present only in plant cell. Okay, and they are permeable. So there is no selectively permeable. Their solutions can easily move in and out of the cell wall. But inside the plant, outer will be the animal cell wall and inside the cell wall will be the plasma membrane. But anything can go inside the cell wall, okay, because they are easily permeable. but for plasma membrane it is selectively permeable. Now they are made up of cellulose, plant cell, that is cell wall is made up of cellulose, while plasma membrane is made up of lipoprotein. So these are the important concepts. Now cell wall gives a rigidity, okay, and shape. It gives a proper shape to the cell. It also gives rigidity to the cell. While plasma membrane, it provides a flexibility to the cell. So these are the tiny difference between a cell wall and the cell membrane. They might ask you what is the difference between cell wall and cell membrane. You can write these differences. That is, cell wall is a non-living, while cell membrane is a living. Cell wall is only made up of, only present in plant cell, while cell membrane is only present in animal cell. Cell wall is permeable, while cell membrane is selectively permeable. Cell wall is made up of cellulose, while cell membrane is made up of lipoprotein. Cell wall provides rigidity and shape to the plant cell, while cell membrane provides flexibility to the animal cell. So these are the important top notes for the cell membrane or else plasma membrane. Hope you understood this part. The next important part, that is cytoplasm. Now what is cytoplasm? Where actually the cytoplasm is? If you could see the inner structure, this portion which I have noted in green color, this complete structure is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is made up of semi-liquid structure, okay? They are semi-liquid in nature. Okay. They are also made up of, it's a living membrane. There is a living structures present inside. It accommodates most of the living structures, okay? So cytoplasm is the second important part of the cell. It is just present inside the plasma membrane of a cell. So the next layer or the next structure which is present after the plasma membrane is the cytoplasm. Plasm means it is a liquid. Cyto means it is a cell. So the liquid present inside the cell is called as cytoplasm. And what kind of liquid it is? It is a completely liquid. It is a semi-liquid content. Okay, it is not purely liquid in its nature. It is a semi-liquid content which is present, which is filled inside the cell, and this semi-liquid content has a living structure, and that living structure is called as organelle. Okay, and they are also non-living structure present, and they are called as inclusions. Okay children, now cytoplasm, it is nothing but a liquid which fills up the cell. It is the next layer after the plasma membrane. Okay, so cytoplasm means from the nucleus, from the plasma membrane to the nucleus. Okay, from here to here, whatever the structures which is present around, that is, it starts from plasma membrane to nucleus. Okay, that is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm starts from the inner layer of the plasma membrane to the outer layer of the nucleus. Inner layer of the plasma membrane to the outer layer of the nucleus. That is called a cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is nothing but, cyto means cell and the plasm means the liquid. So it is a semi-liquid in its nature which fills the entire cell, and it contains important living structures which is called as organelles, and it also accommodates a non-living structure which is called as inclusion. Okay, now a cytoplasm without the nucleus and the organelle, if a cytoplasm is without nucleus and organelles is called cytosol. Please understand this. The cytoplasm without nucleus and the organelles is called cytosol. Understood? So cytoplasm is also called as protoplasm. Did you understand? Protoplasm, that means the entire structure which is present, this complete structure is also called as protoplasm. So the nucleus and organelles is, if the organelles and the nucleus are not present, then the cytoplasm is called as cytosol. Okay, now hope you understood about cytoplasm. This is the important structures where it accommodates most of the structures associated with the cytoplasm. That is a living structure which is called as organelles, and it also accommodates non-living structure which is called as inclusions. Now we will move on to the next. We will talk one by one organelles later. Let us understand about the nucleus. Nucleus plays a very important vital role in the cell. Okay. Nucleus holds the middle portion of the cell, especially in animal cell. If we see, the nucleus holds the center portion of the cell, and this nucleus contains few important structures. Outermost layer of this nucleus is called as nuclear membrane. Okay. Inner layer, it also has a liquid which is filled, which is called as nucleoplasm. Just like cytoplasm which is filled in cell, just like that inside the nucleus, the nucleoplasms are filled. Nucleus is said to be the master of the cell. That means just like a brain which controls our body, like that, nucleus controls each and every activity of the cell, and it carries an important hereditary material which helps in the transfer of character from the parent to the offspring. Now we know we have so many observable character which is acquired from our parents, isn't it? And how we acquire this character, it is just because of the transfer of the hereditary material which is present in the nucleus will be transferred to the younger generation by the process of reproduction. Okay, so nucleus is a master of the cell. It helps in the cell to undergo cell division, and it also plays a vital role in transfer of hereditary material to the offspring from the parents. Okay, so these are the important informations about nucleus. So it helps in protein synthesis. Okay, it helps in transfer hereditary character. And it helps in cell division. Okay, it also helps in control and regulate the other organelles and functions. Please understand this. Nucleus plays a vital role in the protein synthesis. There are a lot of protein which is required for our body to stay alive, and nucleus plays a vital role in the synthesis of protein. It also helps in the transfer of hereditary character from the parent to the offspring. So there are so many characters like the shape of the nose, the color of the eye, hair style, skin tone. These all are the different types of internal behavior characters, okay, external physical characters. These all are from our parents. We acquire from our parents, and these transfer of these hereditary characters is also intact. It is hidden inside the nucleus. It also helps the cell to undergo division, and it control and regulate the cells. Okay, so many organelles work with the message from the nucleus. So if the nucleus control different organelles for it to perform its function, so nucleus plays a very important role in the cell and it is the master of the cell. Okay, so we will end up the class today. Next we will find with the next few organelle details.
A unique school based on Indian cultural heritage and global vision, which has a record of 100% result in ICSE, State Board and PU Board examinations. Athreya Educational Institutions, a famous name in Mandya for more than a decade, providing you a world-class education from nursery to PUC. Enhanced with a newly constructed environment-friendly building, spacious smart classrooms, well-equipped labs and library, experienced teachers with motherly care and updated teaching methods, including 4-language learning concept, regular multiple cultural and sports activities, and best vehicle facility. What else do you expect? Join your children today. We make them complete human beings and present them as real gift to the society.
ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಅನುರಾಧ ರಘು ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು, ಕೆಎಸ್ ರಘು ವಕೀಲರು ಹಾಗೂ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು. ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಫಾರ್ 2020 and 21. ಪ್ರಿ-ಕೆಜಿ, ಯುಕೆಜಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಟು 10th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್. ಸಂಪರ್ಕಿಸಿ. ದೂರವಾಣಿ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ 9986797652, 8867015936 ಹಾಗೂ 8867015937.
Experience Athreya. Feel at home.